everyone, welcome back to my channel, She Plans, She Budgets. In today's video, we'll be going over my first weekly check-in, so let's get started. All right, so I have my calendar view opened up right here for December, and I have my expense trackers already filled out, so we'll just go ahead and jump right in and set these down. So I'm just going to go in the order of the trackers, not necessarily the order of the dates, but as you can see. And right here to the right, I have my key over here to show what categories are represented by each color. So I have gasoline, groceries, household, spending, eating out, and entertainment. Those 6 categories make up my 6 cash envelopes or cashless envelopes because I am a electronic budgeter. I also have sinking funds and unbudgeted to track. So starting first with the eating out category that's in this mint green color. So I had breakfast on the 1st, and I believe that was from Chick-fil-A. My boyfriend and I really enjoyed their chicken and hash brown burritos, and that was for $11.24. Okay, and then on the 2nd, we had fast food multiple times this day, and that was for $33.19. I believe we went to Chick-fil-A again, as well as Chicken Express. On the 4th, as you can see, we love Chick-fil-A, and we had spent $37.45. And yes, that was on the 4th. As you can see, I wasn't doing a good job with cooking dinner. Sometimes you just get lazy, or I get lazy. I do cook more at home than I used to in the past, and that's why we're able to have such a low eating out fund. You'll see the numbers that we started with in just a moment. But yeah, sometimes I get a little lazy. You know, it's holiday season, so we've been hitting up Chick-fil-A quite a bit. And then the last eating out was Chick-fil-A again for $18.19, and that was on the 5th. So, whew, a lot of eating out. All right, so the next one we'll track is groceries, and that's this dark green color. So we had one grocery run from H-E-B, and that was for $360.86. This was a mistake, so we can ignore that one. And that was on the 1st as well. Okay, so next up is household, and that's in this mustard yellow color. This was also at H-E-B. We spent $95.58. So I'm gonna have to move some stickers around. So payday was on the 1st, but we'll just stick it right here. All right, so this dark red color was for gasoline. We filled up on the 5th for $41.14. Okay, so next for the 5th, my boyfriend and I went to the movies to see the new Hunger Games movie. And we both thought it was pretty good. He didn't like it. Like, he thought the execution could have been a little bit better. I enjoyed it. And I don't want to give any spoilers in case anyone hasn't seen it, but the movies plus the froyo cost $30.89, so it was a nice little movie date. Move on to my personal spending, which is in this peachy color. So on the 2nd, I spent $10.85 on wine and ginger ale. I love me some sweet red wine, and I got some of that plus some ginger ale. Next, I went to Starbucks on the 5th, spent $16.23 to get 2 drinks. And the last personal spending I did, I purchased a smoothie from Whole Foods on the 9th, which was $7.58. And it was pretty good. They use orange juice as their base. I'm used to almond milk, so it was a little more tangy tasting than I'm used to. I like the drink overall, but I do feel like I prefer the almond milk. All right, so that is all of my cash envelopes transactions, and then I didn't have any unbudgeted, fortunately, so all of those were blank. So next for sinking funds, So I'm gonna do this one first. So we spent out of health and wellness $178.69, and that was on the 7th. And then on the 1st, we spent from the pets category and health and wellness again for a total of $40.94. All right, so I'll just squeeze this on up here. It's kind of covering Friday. Try to overlap it a little. All right, that's just gonna have to be how it is. All right, so real quick, I just want to show you all. So for all of my transactions for the cash envelopes, I do keep track of them here on my expense log. So these are all the transactions that we just laid down together in the calendar view. I keep the sinking funds separate, and I don't write unbudgeted in this section just because I forgot to include it this month on the weekly check-in. Normally I do have it there. I'll list unbudgeted so I can write it in, but because I forgot to put it in there, I'm gonna not list it here. It will just only be listed on the calendar view if and when I have any expenses to mark, but so far I haven't used it. So again here, so as you can see, I like to mark if I use my credit card or debit card. So for all of these transactions for cash envelopes and sinking funds, I mainly use credit first. So that's why I have dashes here in the debit section. Sometimes I use that, but mainly just credit. So I'm going to check all of these transactions off after I make the transfer from my checkings account to the credit card to pay off all of these transactions. So that's why this column is currently blank. All right. And then on the next page, okay, so I just wanted to show you the sinking funds. So from pets, we just bought cat food for $18.08, and that leaves us with $46.92 in the pets category because we started the month off with $65. And then for health and wellness, we spent $22.86 on liquid IV. Those are the little powder packets that you can add into your water to add some flavor and get some electrolytes. And that left us with the $178.69 that we ended up spending on Amazon on the 7th to refill our vitamins. My boyfriend and I take vitamins every day, so we just did a big refill for the month and just, you know, used up what we had. So we have a zero balance in the health and wellness category. All right, so now this is the weekly check-in page. So right here, we're going to go ahead and total up everything that was spent for the week and then keep track of the remaining amounts that we have for the rest of the month. All right, so flipping back to the calendar view, so we can start with gas, and I believe I only had the one transaction, so that was $41.14 that was spent. $41.14. Okay, and out of 200, that leaves me with $158 with 86 cents for the rest of the month. Alrighty, and let me grab my red pen real quick so I can check off that we checked that in. And then next is groceries. So for groceries, we just had the $360.86. Let me go ahead and check that. And we're gonna write down the $95.58 as well for household. Okay, so $360.86. So $360.86 and $95.58 for household. Okay, so the remaining balances for that. So for groceries, we started off with $850. The first week of the month, we like to do a big bulk shop, so that's why we spend the most in the first week, and we'll just buy what we need to replace throughout the rest of the month. So $850 minus the $360.86 leaves me with $489.14. And then for household, we like to start with $200 minus the $95.58, and we still have $104 with 42 cents, and that's looking real good. Okay, so for my personal spending, that is in the peachy color. So it looks like I only spent, or I have 3 transactions actually. So I have the $10.85 plus the $16.23 plus the $7.58, which gives me a total of $34.66. And I'm gonna go ahead and check those off. And I just realized I forgot to remind you all that we are weekly checking in from the 1st through the 9th, just because I wanted to include these 2 days, because I like to track the weeks from Sunday through Saturday. But for the first week, we're doing from the 1st through the 9th. All right, and again, we said that total was $34.66. So minus $34.66 out of 100. So 100 minus 34.66 equals 65 with 34 cents. And that's what I have left to spend for personal spending. Eating out. Now, this is the moment of truth, because I feel like we either used it all up or went over. So eating out is in the mint color. So we have the $11.24 plus the $33.19 plus the $37.45 plus the $18.90. All right, just those 4. So that is a total of $100.78. Whew. I thought it was going to be a little worse than that, but luckily it's not. I always like to say thank God for that. Okay, so we spent a total of $100.78. So we technically are over, but I won't cry over the 78 cents. So we are negative by 78 cents. And that means eating out is now off limits. And I'm gonna just put a little X here to remind myself to stop spending from this category. If I want to eat out, I'll have to either use personal spending or unbudgeted, but I'm not gonna do it to myself. All right, so okay, so the last category is entertainment, and that is just this one expense from the movies. So that is $30.89. So minus $30.89. Okay, so 100 minus $30.89 leaves us with $69.11. All right. So you know what? For the first week, we didn't do too bad. So this is what we have to work with for the remaining of the month. So week 2 will be coming up shortly, and that will be from the 10th through the 16th. So let's go ahead and check in bills. Okay, I checked everything. I just didn't check off the sinking funds rather. So for the sinking funds, I like to check these off after I make the transfers as well, because again, I pay these out of the credit card. But the Amazon order, my boyfriend actually took care of that on his debit card instead of using the credit card. So unfortunately, we didn't get those credit card rewards for that. So he just got the Apple Pay to take care of this $178.69. So I'm going to check that off because it wasn't paid through a credit card. But the other 2 were, so I'll need to transfer those and then I'll check them off. All right, so now for the bills. So I mentioned that my rent and water is paid at the same time, and I did get that bill for both of these combined. So for both bills, it was $2,362.33. All right, and then for renter's insurance, that came out for $9.58. And then let me go ahead and check these off. So rent and water was paid. Renter's insurance was paid. Netflix, Amazon, along with iTunes, and Rapid API plus the dictionary. So for the few subscriptions that we have, those come out of a separate account. So I just transfer the money into that account. So when they come out on their due dates, you know, the money is there and it'll just pull automatically. So I'm just going to mark them as paid because the account that we keep track of in our weekly balance view is not the same account. So that's why I need to just mark them as paid. And then the last thing that I paid was the internet bill, and I pay that manually a month, even though I can put it on auto pay. I don't, because this bill has changed on us in the past. So apparently, you know, when we first signed up for our current internet provider, we were put on a promotion that we were not made aware of. We thought the amount was the amount, which was about $45. So it had went up to $60. So I'm just waiting for them to go up again and tell me it was, oh, another promotion ended. So that's why I don't want it on auto pay, because I want to see the bill before we pay it. Because in case I have to discontinue or, you know, request a lower bill or something, because I don't have time for this bill to just keep increasing when they want to. And their reasoning is because we're on some invisible promotion that we were never made aware of. So I like to pay this bill manually. So I paid all of these bills in advance. Okay, so now for the next page, again, I'll check these off once we do the transfer. So for the monthly budget view, I just want to write in the amounts. So my rent is fixed at $2,259. Okay, and so the number that we had to pay for the rent and water combined was $23.62 with 33 cents. And subtracting the $22.59 for just the rent, that means my water bill came in at $103 with 33 cents. Okay, and then as mentioned earlier, the renter's insurance was $9.58. Subscriptions, because I just transfer everything into a different account, I'm going to subtract that in full as $48. The internet bill, I have a C here because I did pay this with the credit card. So I will need to make a transfer during the weekly balance just to pay this bill off the credit card. So that was for a total of $60.30. And then these last two bills aren't due yet. The dance bill is due on the 12th, so that will come up next week. And then the electricity bill is due towards the end of the month, and I'll get that official bill sometime next week as well. And that way I'll know the exact amount, and then I can, you know, plan ahead for anything that's left over. All right, so that is it for checking in the bills. So we just have 2 more bills remaining, and this is just a buffer to pay for anything that might go over. But I think we'll be pretty good this month. Okay, so that is it that I wanted to check in for this page. And we finished this page, so we need to go ahead and total up these numbers. Okay, so for this week we spent $41.14 plus $360.86 plus 95. Oh, that's not 95. $95.58 plus $34.66 plus $178 plus $30.89. Okay, so for this week, we spent a total of $663.91, and we need to jot that down on this page, which is the weekly balance from the 1st to the 9th. So I'm just keeping track of everything that was spent in the first week. If you caught my last video, you'll know how I set this up and why. So feel free to check that video out. It is the weekly check-in and weekly balance setup video. So that was the cash envelopes we just totaled. And again, we spent a total of $663.91. For bills, we can total that up real quick. For bills, we spent $22.59 plus $103.33 plus $9.58 plus $48 and plus $60.30. So in total for bills, we spent $2,480.21. So most of our bills come out in the beginning of the month. So $2,480 with 21 cents. And then for the miscellaneous section, it's basically just the sinking funds, because in the budget view, we have sinking funds plus unbudgeted marked, but we don't put anything down for unbudgeted. So it's just the sinking funds. And the sinking funds, we spent $1,808 plus $22.86 plus $178.69. And that totals $219.63. All right, so in total for this week, this is how much money left our account. So $2,480.21 plus $663.91 plus $219.63. So in week one, $3,363.75 left our account, and we started off with $5,474.75. So that means we should have $2,111 remaining in our account. But let's do the math the other way just to make sure. So $2,750 minus $2,480, 21, means for bills we should still have $269.79. And we have only 2 bills remaining, which is my dance membership plus the electricity bill. All right, so for cash envelopes, we started off with $1,550 minus the $663.91. So we should have $886.09 remaining. And then for sinking funds, we started off with $1,174.75 minus $219.63. So we should still have $955.12 remaining. So to total all of that up, we have $269.79 plus $886 with 0.09 cents plus $955 with 12 cents. Totals $2,111 even. Okay, so this is how much money should be in account number 1. All right, and so I would need to do my transfers after this video, and I will just insert something just confirming that the numbers do match. Okay, and then let me just make sure that was it. So, okay. Hey everyone, just popping back on here real quick because I forgot to show you all the transfers that I need to make as far as the numbers. So I'm just going to flip back to the weekly balance page. So as I mentioned to you all, I do charge my credit card for all of the cash envelopes and sinking funds. So for my transfers, I do need to transfer this entire amount, $663.91 from the cash envelopes. For the sinking funds, I need to just transfer only these 2 transactions. So that is $1,808 plus the $22.86. And then lastly, because out of my bills, out of this $24.80 and 21 cents, I only paid the internet bill for $60.30 on the credit card. Everything else came straight out of the checkings account. So with all of that added up, that equals $765.15. So this is the total number that I need to transfer from my checking account number 1 to my credit card to pay it off in full to avoid any interest that could accrue, while still benefiting from the credit card reward points. So I just wanted to pop back on here to show you all that because I forgot to show it initially. So let's continue on with the video. And then in week 2 check-in, we'll go over week 2 weekly balance. And then again, after I make the transfer, I'm just going to check these off. as well as check off these items here. And then just a quick update for the savings tracker. We did move money around from our paychecks 1 and 2. So I am happy to report that on the 7th, we did fully fund our 1 month ahead status of $4,925. So this is $4,925. So we have met this goal. And then also on the 7th, we transferred, what was it? I believe we transferred $800 to the emergency fund. So that is a total of $800. And then for the budget closeout, I will go over all of the totals and, you know, everything down here. All right, so if you wanted to hear more about our savings transfer, or savings tracker rather, feel free to check out my last video, because again, I did post about the, not my last video, my sinking funds and savings tracker update video, because I did go over this page as well as my sinking funds. All right, so that is everything for today's video. 1 second. I just realized I did not put down my no spend stickers, so let me just go ahead and do that. So I had a no spend on the 3rd. I had a no spend on the 6th. So even though I had to pay a bill, I still mark it as a no spend day, because I basically based the no spend days off of these 8 categories here. If I didn't use any of these stickers, then I mark it as a no spend. So I don't count the bills. And then I also had a no spend day on the 8th. So that looks like 3 no spend days for the week, which isn't bad. Or maybe just a little bit, because there was 9 days in this week. So, okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right, well, not too bad. All right, so that was the last thing for this video. So again, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I will see you all next time. Bye.